The laughter began before the cameras had even fully settled. It wasn't nervous. It wasn't awkward. It was loud, confident, and filled with arrogance. The kind of laughter that tells a room, "You can't touch me." Karen Mitchell leaned back in her chair with a smirk, acting like she owned the courtroom. But she didn't realize something important. That same laugh would soon become the sound of her downfall. For years, Karen had controlled her neighborhood like it was her personal kingdom. As the head of the Homeowners Association, she didn't just enforce rules, she used them like weapons. A flower too tall, a decoration left outside too long, a child's chalk drawing on the driveway. To most people, these were harmless things, but to Karen, they were violations, and every violation in her mind deserved punishment. Today, Karen believed she was walking into court for another easy win. Her target was Lillian Cortez, a quiet, exhausted neighbor who had been fined again and again over small, meaningless issues. This time, it was about sunflowers. Simple, harmless sunflowers planted in Lillian's own yard. But Karen claimed they broke community standards. When the judge entered the courtroom, everything changed. The room fell silent, the energy shifted, but Karen didn't change. She kept smiling, speaking as if she were still in control. She talked about rules, standards, and accountability like she was presenting a case she had already won. Across from her, Lillian sat quietly, tired, humiliated, and finally ready to be heard. As Lillian began to speak, the truth slowly surfaced. This wasn't about flowers. It was about control. It was about years of pressure, years of fines, years of living under constant fear. The courtroom could feel it. People shifted in their seats. The mood changed. Karen noticed it too. But instead of stopping, she laughed again. That was her mistake. Because while Karen was busy acting untouchable, the judge was watching closely, listening carefully. Seeing far more than Karen realized, the questions began to change. They were no longer just about Lillian's yard. They were about Karen. Her HOA, her authority, and the way she used it. For the first time, Karen's smile began to fade. There was hesitation, a small crack in the confidence she had carried for so long. The same rules Karen had used against others were now being used to examine her. Records were brought up, details were questioned. Numbers didn't quite add up, and slowly, her perfect image started to fall apart. Karen tried to defend herself. She tried to redirect the focus. She tried to sound confident again. But it wasn't working. The courtroom could feel it. The truth was getting closer, and Karen had no control over it anymore. The judge remained calm. No raised voice, no unnecessary emotion. Just sharp, precise questions and undeniable facts. And somehow that calmness made everything even more intense. Because facts don't bend, and they don't fear arrogance. Every answer Karen gave only made things worse. Her voice grew weaker, her composure slipped. The same woman who once made others feel powerless was now sitting in that exact position herself. By the end, Karen was no longer laughing. She was silent. The same silence she once used to intimidate others had now surrounded her completely, and when the ruling came, it was clear. Karen had abused her power. She had crossed the line, and now she would face the consequences. There was no escape, no rule left to hide behind, no authority left to control. Just the truth and the weight of everything she had done. Karen stood up slowly. Her face had changed. The arrogance was gone. The confidence was gone. All that remained was shock. Without saying a word, she walked out of the courtroom, and in that moment, one truth became clear. Power without honesty never lasts. Control without fairness always collapses. And sometimes, the loudest person in the room becomes silent when the truth finally speaks.